I'm going to teach you in this video how to get rich in 2 sentences. And I'm going to write them on the board so that I don't go so fast that you can't write them down, because I know I talk fast sometimes. So we're going to pump the brakes a little bit today. And I'm going to give you all some stuff that will absolutely take your life to the next level. If you're ready, somebody holler at me. I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay, here we go. So sentence number 1, 2-sentence wealth formula. Okay, if you want to be rich, find out. Do what? Find out what rich people do financially, comma, and do the same things. Now, I know that seems like an oversimplification, but you're going to find out in very short order that is not an oversimplification at all. That's the first sentence. Find out what rich people do financially, comma, and do the same thing, period. If you will do that, it will change your life. But when I say find out, find out, those 2 words may not be strong enough. Maybe I should say, make a study of what rich people do financially, comma, and do the same thing. Perhaps I should say, obsess over what rich people do financially and do the same things. Perhaps I should say, never stop looking for what rich people do financially and do the same things. Okay, sentence number 2 is way more important than sentence number 1. What's sentence number 2? Find out. Do what? Find out what poor people do. What poor people do financially, comma, and whatever else you do. Whatever else you do, don't do that. If you will obsess over these 2 sentences, it is virtually impossible for you not to create wealth. I mean, but you can't just read them and then you're going to be rich. This is not Read and Grow Rich. You can't just think them. You have to actually do it. You have to actually turn this into a study. Okay, so I mean, find out where rich people go to buy their groceries and buy your groceries there. Find out where poor people go. Don't go to those places. I know it sounds ridiculous. I get it. But if creating wealth made sense to you, you'd already be doing it. Find out the kind of thoughts they think. Whatever you do, don't think those thoughts. Find out what restaurants they eat at. Find out what restaurants poor people eat at. Don't eat at those restaurants. Find out what restaurants rich people eat at. Eat at those restaurants sometimes. Find out where poor people go on vacation. Avoid those spots. Find out where rich people go on vacation. You say, Myron, that sounds so cynical. Okay, that's one thing it sounds, but I'm going to tell you something. This is what I did, and I just decided. Poor people do it. I'm not doing it. That's why when I was poor, I didn't have a television. Right? Because when you're poor and you have a television, you got a bunch of rich people who make money telling you your vision. Or better, worse yet, they're telling you their vision. And their vision has nothing to do with making your life better. And so my youngest daughter, she was 16 when we got a television with cable TV in our house. Why? Because I'm not going to be broke as a joke and ready to choke, watching other people live their dreams while I'm living a nightmare. It didn't make sense to me. And so there are 3 particular areas in which if you will obsess over these 2 sentences, find out what rich people do financially and do the same things, period. Find out what poor people do financially, and whatever else you do, don't do that. If you will obsess over these 2 sentences in 3 areas of your life, it is virtually impossible for you not to get rich. So this is the 2-sentence wealth formula. These are the 3 arenas in which to apply them. Number 1, you have to apply this. You know what? I'm going to use a different color. You have to apply this to your to your mind. You have to apply these two sentences to your mind. Number two, you have to apply these two formulas to your mouth. And number three, you have to apply these two formulas to your money. When you think the thoughts that rich people think, speak the words that rich people speak, and then use your money the way rich people use money, it is virtually impossible for you not to get rich. Like, I don't even see how it's even virtually possible for you to stay poor. I don't even see how it's even likely, a possibility that you could stay poor. I know for a fact, like a lot of stuff people believe. So let's start with that. So in the mind, what do we got? I mean, we could literally stay on that one all day. So we're going to start off with your mind. What are we going to do? We're going to figure out what are some things we can do in our minds that rich people do, okay? So we have to find what rich people believe. I'm telling you, rich people believe something very different than poor people believe. And I remember listening to Jim Rohn when I was broke. Oh, I was sharing the story yesterday with somebody. With Dr. Sonia when I did that interview. I remember that when I first got started in entrepreneurship, I used to rebuild cars, like engines, transmissions, body work, and I'd buy a car for $100 and I'd fix it up and sell it for $700, or I'd buy a car for $500 and fix it up and sell it for $1,300, and I might have to put a transmission, or I might have to put an engine, I might have to put a fender on it, I might have to do some body work, might have to put a paint job on it, and I did all of that in my garage at my house, and so I'm pretty mechanically inclined. And then what I'd do after I got the car fixed, actually sometimes even before I got it fixed, because we had to go shake the money tree, I'd advertise the car in the classified ads of the paper, of the newspaper. Y'all remember newspapers, don't y'all? Okay, so they had these things called classified ads, and you could advertise stuff you had for sale in the newspaper. And so I'd run the ad, and then somebody would call, and then come by, and I'd show them the car, and then they'd buy it, and they'd pay me the money, and I'd sign the title over to them. And every time, like, we were really poor, and every time I'd sell a car, me and my wife would celebrate by going on a shopping spree. And we didn't go to Macy's, and we didn't go to Sears, and we didn't go to JCPenney. We definitely didn't go to Neiman Marcus. We didn't even go to Kmart or Walmart. We went to AmVets, Salvation Army, or Goodwill. I remember those days like they were yesterday. And interestingly enough, one of those times, and I wasn't even really poor then. I was actually a pastor of a church at the time this happened, but I still shopped at Goodwill, right? I used to buy all of my suits and everything, ties, all that stuff at Goodwill. And that Salvation Army. So I was at Goodwill. This was when I was pastoring in Brunswick, Georgia. Me and my wife went to Goodwill, and we're looking around, just kind of looking around, see what they have. Found this box filled with motivational tapes. Most of them were Amway tapes. Okay, but one of those tapes was Jim Rohn, The Day That Changes Your Life. Little did I know that that cassette tape that I bought at Goodwill would be one of the components that changed my life that day. Because here's what Jim Rohn said. Jim Rohn said, I was talking to my mentor, Mr. Earl Schoaf, and he asked me the question. He says, how are you doing, Mr. Rohn? He said, well, I'm not doing that good. He said, well, how is it that you're, a healthy American man and you're 26 years old and you're still not doing that well financially? He said, well, at my job, he said, that's all they pay. Mr. Schoaf said, Mr. Rohn, that's not all they pay. That's all they pay you. Are there people at your job they pay more than they pay you? He said, yes. Well, then that's not all they pay. That's just all they pay you. And he said, Mr. Rohn, if you will change, everything will change for you. I thought, wow, that's really fascinating. If you will change, everything will change for you. Well, one of the things that we have to change is we have to change the things we believe.